Okay, it's rolling.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Spin Rack. I'm here with my boys, PD and Cal, and we're talking about DC news. You know, we've all heard about what's been happening with Bendis. Have you? PD, give us a little breakdown of what's going on.
Things are being cut short. That's all I know. The Bendis said there's no end in sight on his Superman run, and it seems like it's very much near. The end by December, his run will be ended. And they're also saying that Grant Morrison will be concluding be off of Green Lantern. I'm not sure, but I'm trying to find the article right now. But I think there's some big shakeups going on at DC, and in my mind, it's not the closing of DC, it's the closing of all that money they got to spend for these high-profile writers.
Those guys are gone.
They went kind of ham in trying to get the DC writers, the Marvel guys. That was the thing. You could see the next guy was going to be Hickman and Jason Aaron, and now it's like, hey, you got to make your money on the book, not off of us anymore. And that's the struggle that they kind of made the mistake of saying, oh, Marvel already cut their rates. We'll give them signing bonuses. Here you guys go. And now we got to fire people. So,
I mean, the numbers didn't show. The numbers didn't keep up for Superman. So I guess that's one of the reasons why it's going out. What's your thought on that, Petey?
Just me, because we also have Cal here.
I know, but I know what Hal's going to say, so that's why I'm bouncing it up.
Can we hear from Cal right now?
Do you really want to hear from Cal?
To say something.
Are you sure you want to hear from Cal right now?
Yes, we do.
Are you sure?
Yes, we do.
Okay, he's out of here. Get out. Stay out. I'm hearing. Did you hear how much his contract was?
No.
There are rumors like $2 million, right?
No, are you kidding? $11 million is what I'm hearing his contract was. $11 million to turn out what he was turning out. Get out of here. And here's what I know about Bendis. It's not that Bendis can't write. It's not that he's a capable writer or even a talented writer. Bendis, if you let him do what the hell he's going to do, he will take 7 years to tell a 2-month story. And that's what he had been doing with. He'll introduce this villain, that villain. Now that he's out of here when it comes to December, watch how this story coalesces in a heartbeat. And everybody will be, oh, wow, that was great. I wish I could read more. It's like, no, that was the whole story. Okay, his story is not plotted out and scripted. It's an outline. It's an outline. It's like about a paragraph. It's Superman reveals his secret identity. He has some trouble, but then he resolves it. He lives happily ever after. The whole story. He could do 5 years on just that at the end of the day. But Petey's right. These guys were getting, it was too much money, especially now that AT&T took over. They were like, hey, we paid how much for you guys? Okay, we got to start getting some of this money back. What are you doing? You got how much money? Now that's over. You're out. Okay, I'm not seeing the number turned over here. You're out. You're gone. That'll be the end of it. Who's staying? Scott Snyder? Scott Snyder could turn the whole DC universe into pad, and they would have no problem because the numbers for him are just too good at the end of the day. Jeff Johns delivered with Stargirl. He can do whatever the hell he wants.
Well, they're also moving obviously they already moved Jeff Johns out of his executive job, which is 2 paychecks, and his book was late as hell. So they cut his getting movie money and getting all the stuff at once. But Scott Snyder saying he's moving away from the main line, I guess, to do smaller things, but he also has some Kickstarters going on and all this other stuff and create her own stuff. So I don't know. It's a tough time. It seems like they're just trying to keep the money and making these. I mean, outside of I don't know. Outside, I think the back in the day, like I think when Byrne went to do Man of Steel, it wasn't necessarily signing the bonus. It was also he got a deal to do a novel. Like that was about it, and then the money it made on its own paid off of that $1 million, it was $1 million issue. So that was the thing that made it. It produced numbers, and I think these guys being the top guys, the amount getting close to possibly a royalty should have been what they were pulling these guys to do. Not saying, hey, this is my page rate. I need above this and I need a signing bonus like those like Heroes Reborn. And I don't know. That's kind of the hard thing. You see them try to go to Image and make their bones and make something with Hollywood. So we shall see. But it seems like they're just trying to keep, trying to keep some money in house because they were giving out a lot, almost Hollywood style. So
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. I mean, I'm looking at Comic-Con and some of the top numbers for the top comics of the year so far. Of course, we got to factor in the Corona, but you have Batman, Superman. That's the highest rate. That's the highest selling, at least. Well, you know what? There may be better ones because I think DC broke off from Diamond during that time period. So, but at that time they had Batman, Superman at 46,000 comics sold for the time period for the year, which is like wow.
I think you gotta take all of that really lightly because this has not been a regular year, for comic sales.
Well, that's what I just said. That's exactly what I just said, bro. I totally agree with you on that. No question about that. It's not been a regular year. But still, I mean, Superman Action Comics, I think I'm seeing Action Comics 1018, I think it is. So when they were recording it back in January, sold 38,000 units. This is before the Corona. So, if you're bringing someone like Bendis on to do this type of work at 11 million seems extremely high, but if they're bringing him on for millions, they expect something to come out, because based on the page rate and then the royalties and stuff like that, he has to be bringing in. And then also they put him on so many books and so many titles, and did all those titles and stuff work? I don't know,
No, maybe we'll stick with the other ones and not Superman, because Naomi, maybe we'll stick with that, and the Wonder Twins.
But he's too expensive for just Naomi. He's just way too expensive. I mean, unless Naomi's doing like 100,000 a year.
He was always too expensive for all that stuff. He was the great one. They needed to make some money and like say, hey, we'll give you a little bit above the page rate and whatever royalties you get. That's it. That's the deal you make.
The bottom line is, if you got Bendis there, when Tom King got off Batman, you had some guys who were like, oh, I enjoyed it. And he had a good vocal following who said, we're so happy he's gone. But Tom King was in-house. Okay? You were not paying all this extra money for Tom King to come on. Bendis left. I have not heard one Superman reader say, oh, I'm so sorry. Everybody's like, get out. We're so happy to see you gone at the end of this point. And you paid so much money for this guy to be there? That's just not a good look.
Yeah, it's going to be tough, man. It's going to be really, really, really tough. It's I think he wasn't part of the Batman and 3 jokes. I think was it Jeff Johns who was part of that?
Jeff Johns.
Yeah, so you see, there it is. I mean, probably should put more money on Jeff Johns.
They already did. They got him a movie and TV deal. How much more money you put into them?
They had to take back some of the money. They had to take back some of the money.
What are you talking about? Stargirl was a hit.
I didn't say it wasn't a hit. I said that I'm saying he doesn't get that without the connection of saying, all right, I'll rewrite 3 million scripts and whatever you want me to do on Aquaman, and then his name's in the credit. You think he wants to take that credit? He'll take whatever to make it to the next stage. And he's getting paid for all those rewrites, even though it's like, I would do it differently. And they're just like, no, just sit down and I'd ask you for a rewrite. Just do it, guys. Just do what I said. The next thing you know, it's like, hey, Jeff, we want to do that Stargirl thing. It's like, yes, I did it. But that's the thing. That's what I mean. It's not a bad deal. He had a desk job at DC. He got the top titles. He got to do some movie stuff, and now he's writing. I don't think it was direct, but he's writing, creative on Stargirl. That's the best deal. That's a good transfer over from doing comic books, having a little bit of connection to the Dick Downer, and now he's got a TV show. People say it's good. I didn't say anything negative about that. I'm saying DC, helped him. They helped him to get that. That's not him on his own, What? You have anything to say to that? I want to say he doesn't get the job of doing Stargirl. He's not, what's the name? He's not Robert Kirkman, where it's his own ownership. So this is the next stage of creation level of saying, here you go. Here's the next stage. Here you go. That sort of thing. They didn't do that. That's the thing I'm talking about. They're not giving Tom King the WandaVision show. How many other shows do you want me to go? You want me to keep going? You better say something.
Cal, please save us, Cal. Save us, Cal.
Save you from what? He's right.
But there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with him getting, DC helping him to the next stage.
Jeff Johns, okay. In another world, Jeff Johns could have gotten 2 checks. In this world right now, like, no, you're getting 1 check. Yeah. But it's the same thing I said with Tom King. If you got a readership, and I mean, Tom King's run on Batman was actually that was a good seller. That did numbers for them. So if Tom King is selling for you, but at the point when he's time for him to leave, you got fans who are like, yeah, get off the book. Okay, in-house. So you aren't, spending all this extra money. Jeff Johns, like this, because this guy, you get 1 check, you not only get the comic book stuff from him, he did the best-selling last year, I think December, that was Doomsday Clock. And all you had was like what? That was just the story. There was no major tie-in, no big event or anything. That was just that story. Some variant covers at the end of the day. That's how you got it. And then you're getting Stargirl out of him. You're getting bang for your buck. You're loving that at the end of the day. When you bring on some of these other cats, and you got to spend all of this money for the name recognition, you're bringing cats on because, hey, we're trying to bring in people who read novels to read comic books. It's like, no, what are we spending this money on? What are we getting? No, you got to go. Then we're going to get somebody in-house, like, who's the big thing? Right now, a lot of, these are just Superman readers. They're saying, they heard Mark Waid supposed to be coming back to DC, if he's not back already. So they're looking to see if Mark Waid will actually be doing something with Superman, which I'm on the fence about. I don't know if Mark Waid really has anything in the tank left for Superman, but a lot of guys loved his Birthright story, and so they're very fond of that. To be honest, if I said John Byrne was coming back to Superman, these guys would get up and start, kicking up their heels along those lines. And I'm not sure if they have anything in the tank left, for Superman, to really go for it. These guys are the fans are living off their past feelings for past stories. But in terms of what's going on with Jeff Johns, you're getting your money. You're getting better than your money's worth. Scott Snyder, you're getting your money's worth. Bendis, got really very little to show for it.
Well, let's stick to because Marvel put a lot of money into Bendis, and the fact that led him to a lot of those little bit of a production deal with the Marvel movies, and thankfully Feige stomped it all out. So, but
I'm
sorry, I'm just kidding. But I want to go to the Wade thing. It's interesting if he can drag along. Was it Chris Samnee? Like, if he can bring that dude with him to do Superman, it could be lackluster. It's gonna be a gorgeous, easy to read book, just like he's doing Fireproof. Was it Fireproof? Was the book that he's doing with Robert Kirkman? Robert Kirkman stole him. Like that
Fire. Is it Fireproof? No, it's Fire.
What was it called?
I just literally saw it. Kirkman.
If he's going to be on Superman, I want that to be a top-selling book.
Firepower.
I don't want to see, I'll be honest, I don't want to see Chris Samnee. I want to see some top art. I want to see some top art. I want to see some top writing. And I want to see a knock your socks off story. Because to be at this point, I'm really frustrated with DC when it comes to this Superman stuff. If you can't put somebody on here who can tell a top story, I don't want to be bothered with them. I have read mediocre stories for too long. I'm getting sick of this nonsense. I'm reading about 3 damn Jokers and I can't get a top Superman story. Forget about it. Like, how hard can this be? You guys make it at one point it's too hard, and then the other point it's like, okay, is it so hard you're not even trying? It's like you're not even trying anymore. Like, just slap an S on it. We'll get at least 30,000 copies. We'll be fine.
True.
I'm saying Chris said
$11 million.
The only friend Mark Waid has these days. He's burned almost every bridge now. Besides,
what? You need to stop it. All right. I don't know what's with the vendetta against these guys. You need to stop.
Well, that's because he let the politics.
We're not talking about that right now. We're not talking about that right now.
Yes, we are talking about it.
No, we're talking about
political
the
age
at hand right now.
and it needs to be addressed.
It does not need to be addressed in this forum right here, okay?
I agree.
We get enough hate mail already as it is, so from those comic gates guys.
Don't. Don't close it down yet.
It's still a game now?
Oh, sweat. Here we
What
go.
happened?
I'm saying, don't close the show down yet.
Why?
He's going. Look at that.
All right. All right. I like that. I still don't want him on the book, though.
I want him on the book.
We will see, PD.
He's done
We will
everything.
see.
Captain America, like everything he touches is gold. But no, he's with Fireproof. It's a power. It's a smart move to drag this guy because he's a very clean storyteller, very easy to page
I
through.
want blockbuster. I want punch. This, I'll be honest, this looks good.
Go buy Superman for tomorrow.
No, horrible.
Go get some Jim Lee, such and such.
I don't want Jim Lee. I just want I want.
You do.
We already had this discussion before. We had this discussion before. Like, okay, you had Mark Waid and who was it, Ron Garney, and they were on Captain America.
Oh yeah.
Really good stuff. But were the numbers there? No. Why? Because they didn't promote that book. They just put them on that book, so we got a new direction. Fine. You get Heroes Reborn. You get trumpets and red carpet and all this other type of stuff and signing bonuses. These guys need to, and then because of the amount of money they're putting into it, they need to get that money back. So they're going to hype the hell out of that book. That's what I want because 30,000. You already got 30,000 people reading Superman. These guys are going to be there regardless. You need to get other people in there, and they're not coming without all the hoopla, with all the pomp and pageantry. You're going to have to do that to get them in there so you can try to increase that readership. If not, what's the sense? I don't want to see Mark Waid come on the book, tell great stories, and it's the same 30,000 people. And that's how, it's really hard because unless you do something like where you got like Immortal Hulk, where you get people coming on the book. Well, one, they were coming on the book because they heard it was a great story, and then people were like buying the hell out of the back issues because the print runs were so low because nobody was reading it to begin with. So then you had that sort of situation. But if you're going to come over here and do this and you want to sell the book, you got to put the investment into it so you can get not the people who are reading it, but you got to get those other people there as well. Bendis was supposed to be great because we don't have to do that. We don't have to put that extra into the marketing. We can just say Bendis and that should be fine. We're going to get an extra 20, 30,000 people reading it just because they want to see what Bendis would do with Superman. That didn't quite happen. So you didn't want to go from there.
Well, I think one of the things that this is only speculation. And this is one of the things why I have some issue is because Bendis did, well, obviously as a Superman fan, you wanted him off, right? Like we can say that. But he was saying he's in it for the long haul. The thing is, they probably came to him saying, we can't do it on the budget you have. The budget is now half of that. And he's like, I got standards. I'm going to go to Kickstarter. I'm going to do something else. When he should have been like, you know what? I'll do that. I want to go a year longer, I think I can close off because he's a long writer. Like by next year, close it off. But him just bolting now, and then you're probably going to see him say, hey, I got a Kickstarter, guys. I've got an image book and this, that, and the other. And that's one of the things where just like no one looks at that and says, as the Bendis fan saying, why is he bolting this quickly? Like, why is he like people have issue with with people jumping off books, and then when it's like, no, these guys we like, hey, it's the end is near.
Wait, but if what you're saying is true, but we're only talking about one title. Are they pushing him off all his titles? Because that's a big thing there. And so we're not saying that. We've only saying
cut your losses. Right, they're pulling the plug, like take the plug out.
We're saying only we're
cutting
saying
our losses.
Superman. We're saying only Superman right now, so you're not going to see him doing a Kickstarter if he still has other titles with DC. So let's try and make sure.
Snyder is doing a Kickstarter. They're all doing that. Like when Jim Lee and the rest of the bigger names move there, they're going to ruin the whole thing. Like this is for like it used to be for that. Once do you think those guys? If Todd McFarlane did a toy that worked on there, what was that? Mark Silvestri did something on there. They're all jumping over. These comic book guys move to the next thing. And so I'm not looking past Bendis, the so-called great one, doing his next thing, or the Jinx and all those other titles that he's got going.
Can you stop it? Can you stop
making a graphic novel of of whatever's left of Jinx and Naomi?
Okay, we're gonna have to cut it. If you're gonna start throwing derogatory remarks and
What did I say derogatory? That he's
the
just
jinx,
for money.
the so-called great one.
Have a jinx book or something like that. Something called it. Oh, that's his. Was that his?
Cal, can you help me here? Can you help me here? He's off this rockers right now.
What do you want me to do, Petey? Keep going.
Yes. So I mean, these guys. The thing is like this. Some creators, even though they have the big name, at some point they do the She-Hulk. You know, so that's the thing. If you're sticking in it, stick to the end of your story. Don't say, you know what, COVID happened, they're not gonna give me my bucks. I'm out of here. I'm breaking out. I'm the great one. I could go back to Marvel if I want to put up with this.
I'm going back to Marvel, and I'm taking my $11 million with me.
Yeah, listen, that's alleged. We don't know, so let's not start a whole industry fight with people saying these type of things, okay? So listen, guys, I think we covered this.
Bendis is going to say, hey, I'm ready for my close-up, Mr. McFarlane. I'm ready to join Image. Image is the best deal going. Can I get my TV deal? All right, we just got here, Bendis. Make a book that sells first. No. I need a signing bonus. That's not how Image works. I'm out.
Okay, guys, I think this is it. Let's call this out real quick. Spinner
Come on, you can't. Come on. How quick? He was there. He said that he was way off. December is not way off. Come on.
It's way off, bro. There's a couple of. It's way off, man. Let it go. Leave Bendis alone, bro. Don't kick. All right.
Leave Bendis alone.
Leave Bendis alone. Okay. So look, and we don't know. You know, I don't know what you guys are trying to do.
The benefit of the doubt that he's not just a money hungry, this, that, and the other. I had a family fee. I'd rather go to Kickstarter than take a pay cut in a pandemic.
You guys are crazy.
I'm not doing that. No way.
You don't take a pay cut. You don't go to Kickstarter, and you just write some Superman stories to give us the numbers we're looking for. Can't do that either.
Okay, this just seems like let's kick Bendis down show, all right? And this is not the whole point. I'm not here for this type of negativity. All right, gentlemen?
Oh, Lord.
All right, thank you. Yes, I deflated that.
He did the never-ending story on Superman that finally ended. Wow. I was expecting 100 or so issues, but he got, what did he do? He got like, what was it, it's almost 60?
No, I think he's over 60.
Wow.
You count all the stories, he's over 60. He's at Burn level with the same amount of time. Maybe a little bit more time than Burn.
Positive story. I like that. Positive, yes. He's
positive? You're kidding me.
There was no pushback story-wise for him. They let him do whatever it was. The reverse with Burn is like, hey, there's a negative response. DC's like, hey, it's not us. What'd you just do? Oh, approved. Oh, we can't stop Burn. Approved. He just does approved. So it's like that. With Bendis, it's like, hey, they gave him the big support, the 1,000, the Superman Action Comics 1,000. How much more support can you get? He's jumping in there. The Legion of Superheroes. Come on, we got some issues here.
He's got Legion of Superheroes. He did that whole thing with Young Justice, Legion of Superheroes, Wonder Twins, Pearl, Naomi, and then he had Superman and Action Comics at the end of the day. And to be honest, for the time that he was there, he had a whole bunch of hype with Naomi, and nothing came of it. And this guy's just sitting back, I got time. I'm going to tell the story. I'm going to do this. And I'm like, oh, you don't have that time. Okay? You don't have that time. People expect something from you. And it didn't happen. It just didn't deliver at the end of the day. I gave this guy a whole bunch of room until he decided he was going to out, Superman, the whole Clark Kent identity. And I was like, no, they just did this. Yeah. They just did this. And this was the same nonsense you did on Daredevil, where they had already established that nobody knew Matt Murdock was Daredevil. And you decided, nah, I'm going to do it anyway. I'm going to take 5 years to tell my version of Daredevil being out, even though Frank Miller already did it in 7. I'm going to do it anyway. And I'm like, that type of hubris deserves to be punished by the gods. And so he was punished by the gods. So get out of here. Don't come back.
Well, thank you very much, gentlemen, for your dispassionate points of view here, you know. But I think
You
we've
mean
kicked this.
disparaging points of view.
I'm not saying that. Spinner rack.
Out.
Thank gosh.
Death
You
to
guys are kicking that.
Bendis!